Hey everybody, how you doing? It's me again, Truth Teacher, and I'm coming at you with a new video. So today I'm gonna be making a response to someone, let's just call him the Dominican chicken farmer. Somebody sent me this video, and he kind of mentions me in it, so I'm gonna be responding to his basic philosophy and talking points as expressed in this video. So let's get right to it.
Hey, what's going on? Just a couple things that I wanted to get into. Basically, the title of this video is that I'm proud of my Spanish heritage, my Spanish ancestry. My Spanish ancestry.
Um, just for the record, I know that there's a few people on YouTube who have accused me of trying to impose American views on Dominican people when it comes to how they identify racially. And I'm going on the record here to say that I have absolutely no objection to the way anyone chooses to identify racially because I believe that that is something that should be determined by the individual and not government institutions. Um, but where I draw the line is when people use their identity or their desire to claim an identity in order to put other people down. And that is the big problem with this individual here. There's absolutely no reason to be ashamed of your Spanish heritage. Perfectly fine, but that in no way justifies the need to put other people down.
Right? And the point of that is that people in general are so simple-minded that they let the littlest thing, convince them to go into a different direction. Like into saying, "Oh no, we're mixed. We have this and we have that and we have this and we have that." And I'm telling you, stay away from that. Stay away from this whole "we're mixed" thing. All right, you're promoting um, mixing with blacks in this country, and that's what you're doing. All right, you have to stop this shit. Okay, now.
Okay, so this is someone who, for whatever reason, God only knows why, has adopted a white nationalist, white supremacist ideology. And he's trying to impose this point of view on the Dominican people and the Dominican culture, where it doesn't belong. And furthermore, what's more perplexing is that you look at this individual and it is obvious that what we're looking at here is a person of African and European admixture. But yet still, he would like to push this narrative that he's European, that he's Spaniard. He took a DNA test and it came back 70 or 71% European, but
These K words, you know, they
okay, so here's another part that is just like totally bonkers. He has this thing about Jews. Why? I have no idea whatsoever. But if you're having a discussion with him and he's not able to answer you when you debunk his talking points, you're automatically a Jew.
they they um they keep things short and simple. Like there's one guy, he'll say, "Oh, your beliefs are Anglo beliefs. You know, that's what he'll say.
Your beliefs are Anglo beliefs. These are not thoughts and feelings that are native to the people of the Dominican Republic. Not even in the declarations by the founding father of the Dominican Republic, Duarte, did we hear this kind of rhetoric. You know, they came together to create a nation for everyone in the island, regardless of racial background. And they declared that quite frankly. So the fact that you are claiming to be a Dominican nationalist, yet you're preaching an ideology that would automatically disqualify the overwhelming majority of people in the Dominican Republic from the nation is, it just makes no sense whatsoever.
Beliefs are Anglo beliefs. This guy's a Jew, all right. And by the way, I saw somebody that would comment on my channel consistently. Comment somewhere saying that I'm Jewish, so I'm not, you know. And
I wonder who that could be.
I don't know how to explain that I'm not. I'm just simply not. But anyway, this is what these people do. This is what these people do. They tell you what they are. That's one thing. But anyway, so this guy says, "Oh, that's an Anglo idea."
For the record, Mr. Chicken Farmer, I never said that you were a Jew. What I said is that you have Jewish ancestry, which is true. Now, he likes to spin this narrative that I'm a Jew. And the fact of the matter is that, like him, I am also of Jewish ancestry. Our Jewish, our Jewish percentages, according to 23andMe, is, are practically the same. I'm gonna insert like the picture here so you can see for yourself what it is.
It's an Anglo ideology, and with just this, some people get swayed by this nonsense. Oh, that's an Anglo idea. Oh well, I guess it's wrong then.
Well, yes, it is wrong because it's totally illogical. As you could see, both he and I have practically the same Jewish percentages as far as ancestry goes. So, if he's going to use that against me to claim that I'm a Jew, wouldn't that by logic mean that he is also Jewish?
Okay, no, all right. Just what I need you to do is start thinking a little deeper. Don't let somebody come to you and say, "Oh, that's a doorknob idea," and then that's enough for you to change your mind. You know, Uh, I'm telling you, think for yourself. Think deeper. Think deeper. Think, what do we want for our nation? All right? Do we want these blacks from the western side of the island to come in? And they are black. All right? Do we want them to come in and turn our nation into what looks like theirs? No. Right?
Well, here's the thing. People are thinking for themselves because, unlike you, they've got common sense, they've got two good eyes, and they've got a functioning brain. And when you're looking at somebody, I mean, for God's sakes, can you not look at this individual and see that this is a person with substantial African ancestry?
Chivo, I was gonna say, so when you say you're Spanish, right? Do you mean culturally, or do you mean like genotype wise, or like phenotype wise?
So what you said when I say that I'm Spanish, if I mean culturally?
Do you mean culturally, or do you mean like
no, honestly,
genotype wise?
Well, no, honestly, culturally, I try to be as Spanish as I can. But to be honest, culturally, I guess I have to say I'm not really that Spanish culturally. You know what I mean? But I definitely mean genetically. You know,
genetically, like phenotype wise, you think Spanish phenotypically?
Yeah, I don't know.
Descending from the conquistadors, like the founding fathers.
No.
Yeah, like
that's not what I mean.
That came to the country, to the colony.
No, that's not what I mean. Phenotype means like how you look, right? Like, do you think you look Spanish, like Spaniard?
Yes, I do.
Duh.
Okay. Because I'm gonna be honest, and like there's nothing wrong with this, but like you look like a mulatto, but like there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
Well, like, the thing is, like, I don't though. I don't though. That's not true.
No, but like, there's nothing wrong with it. But I'm like, this is kind of weird.
I'm not really saying that there is anything wrong with it, but what I'm saying is that I don't. That's not true.
Look at the nose. Look at the thickness of the lips. Look at the width of the mouth, the cheekbones, the shape of the head. Okay, the skin color is pale. The eye color is light, but haven't we seen people that looked like this before in the African American community, in other communities? I mean, haven't we seen biracial people in multi-generational mixed people who look like this? For all his protestations about being Spaniard, his phenotype is not consistent with the type of phenotypes you would find in Spain, anywhere in Spain, not even if we're talking about, Gitanos. This is not a Spanish phenotype, but we do see phenotypes like this general theme amongst people, mixed race people who do have substantial amounts of African ancestry. Case in point. Now, looking at that picture, you can see, the similarities between the two. Look at the shape of the eyes. The nose, a little bit difference in the nose, but look at the lips. Look at the shape of the lips. Look at the cheekbones. Look at the general structure of the face, the head. This is obviously a person of African ancestry, and it's just so bizarre to hear this kind of hate speech coming out of the mouth of somebody like this, who looks like this. And when you bring that to him, he's going to call you a Jew. He's going to tell you that you're lying. But everybody sees it, and we all know what we're looking at when we see him.
You look like a mulatto.
We're looking at a person who has considerable African admixture.
You look like a mulatto.
So whatever you're saying about African people, you're talking about African people who are low in IQ. I mean, for God's sakes. Just looking at his delivery and the way he speaks and the way he presents himself, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, and your house is made out of the thinnest glass there can be.
Deeper than this nonsense. You're saying that we're mixed. You're promoting mixing to the point where we turn into them.
You look like a mulatto.
Dude, you're mixed. And everybody knows it.
you look like a mulatto.
But now, here's where it gets really weird, right? Because he's here telling the Dominican people who are already mixed that they shouldn't be claiming the fact that they are mixed, and that mixing is going to somehow pollute or destroy the society. I mean, this is a person who claims to be a Dominican nationalist, and he will say that the darker skinned people in the Dominican Republic are not really Dominican, and they should go to the other side of the island, which is Haiti. He advocates that in order to improve the situation of the Dominican Republic, there needs to be an increase in the numbers, an increase in the birth rate of white Dominicans, and that there needs to be an infusion of Europeans into the Dominican Republic so that it can improve. Now, where's the logic in this? Because he's not talking about anything that's really concrete or logical in terms of improving the situation in the Dominican Republic. He has no ideas whatsoever about economic policies, political policies, social programs, education reforms, technology, the kind of things that really would contribute to the Dominican Republic raising itself economically. He claims to be a Dominican patriot, but yet still, there is nothing Dominican about the content on his channel whatsoever. All of his content is dealing strictly with, his hatred for African American men, um, his hatred for Africans in general, and his hatred for Haitians. There isn't anything there that speaks to Dominican culture. I mean, well, look, he got ran out of the United States after he got doxxed. Um, he's down there in the Dominican Republic right now. And what is he doing? He claims that he went there in order to help the Dominican Republic. And what is he actually doing down there to help the community? Is he involved in any charity work? Is he involved in any kind of organizations or church groups that are doing things to address the needs of the people who are, impoverished, who are struggling? What is he doing? Absolutely nothing. Does he have any content on his channel about Dominican culture, Dominican history, even just the natural beauty of the Dominican Republic? Is there anything on his channel that is actually dealing with Dominican culture in any way, shape, or form? Absolutely not. It's all about African American men and Africans and Haitians, and the fact that the Dominican Republic needs to whiten itself to improve. But that's another point where it gets really crazy, because he will say that he doesn't want to marry a dark-skinned Dominican, which is a lie, because I know one dark-skinned Dominican he definitely loved to get with, um, if she ever chose to give him the light of day. Um, but he doesn't want to marry darker-skinned Dominicans because that would be polluting his bloodline, right? But let's just think about this. So you don't want to pollute your bloodline by marrying darker skinned Dominicans, but knowing full well that you're only 70% European, you're 16% African, and 7% Taino, and I think like 1.1% Middle Eastern, you are mixed.
You look like a mulatto.
So you want to marry a white Dominican. You don't want to contaminate your bloodline, but you want a white Dominican to contaminate their bloodline by marrying you. Can we make that make sense? Please, somebody in the comments below, make it make sense.
All right, stop it. Our enemies. they these arguments for our enemies. These aren't arguments. This is what they want to hear. Look at this Jamaican Jew that comes on here. He basically says the same things that these people who call themselves nationalists are saying. And this guy's an Afrocentric Jew.
So once again, you guys, you saw my DNA report. If I'm a Jew, isn't he also a Jew? He's really hanging on to that 70% so hard, but everybody with any kind of common sense in their head knows that 70 cents does not equal $1. But let's just work with this, okay? So he is 70% white? Okay. You all know what this is? This is a glass of milk. Milk is white. This glass of milk is about 75% full. Let's say this glass represents our chicken farmer here. I'm going to bump him up to a whole 3/4, 75%. This is chocolate mix. Of the 100% of chocolate mix in this package, I'm going to add to this white milk 16%. 16% chocolate. Okay. 16%. And now we're going to, oh, don't say mixed. Is this white? We've got our Dominican chicken farmer who was run out of the United States and is now living in the Dominican Republic, which is a nation of mixed people. And yet he is advocating that mixed people should stop identifying as mixed because that's going to ruin the country. And the Dominican Republic has been mixed for like 500 years and counting now. But yet he has adopted white supremacist, white nationalist ideology and talking points, which he's trying to export to the Dominican Republic. This makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I think it should be pretty obvious to everyone by now that what we're looking at here is a person who is deeply, deeply, deeply emotionally disturbed. This has absolutely nothing to do with heritage. This has nothing to do with culture. This has nothing to do with nationality. This is a person who has sustained some kind of trauma in their lives and they're obviously in pain. They don't know how to manage it. And so it's coming out in ways that are very toxic and psychologically damaging to everyone around him. There's a lot that needs to be said. Well, in the world community in general, when it comes to mental health and mental hygiene. And this is a perfect example right here. This is the perfect example of a lack of proper mental hygiene.
Ooga booga ooga booga, you is black.
And, we need to start taking this kind of thing seriously because unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there who are disturbed just like this. And I get it. Back in the day, nobody knew about, looking after our kids and making sure that they were mentally stable. It's just now that we're starting to wrap our heads around it. But it really is real. So, for my brothers and sisters in the African diaspora, whether you're African American, whether you are Afro Caribbean, whether you consider yourself Afro Latino, whether you consider yourself a Black Latino, whether you consider yourself a Latino who identifies with their nationality and culture first, but you're also proud of your African ancestry. Listen, when you see this kind of crazy coming, recognize it for what it is. This is insanity. And I'm not just saying that to be cute or to be funny. I'm telling the truth. This is insanity right here. You know that you're dealing with a person who has very deep, low self-esteem issues. Because what does he have to show for himself in his life? What are his achievements? What has he done? The only thing this kind of rhetoric has gotten him, he lost his job, he got doxxed, he had people stepping up to him in the street, and mind you now, when he was working on his job, he was working for a company where his management was African American and most of his co-workers were African American. And when he got injured on the job, it was those African Americans who came to his aid and gave him medical treatment. But when people found out what happened to him, when he went viral, they were really surprised because he didn't have this kind of energy in real life. And when people were stepping to him in the street and asking him, "Are you that guy that was on, that went viral?" He was like, "No, no, 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 no." So he didn't have that kind of energy where it really counted. And so he fled the United States and went to the Dominican Republic. Don't let him try to tell you any nonsense that he went to the Dominican Republic of his own choosing out of some sense of patriotism. That's not true, because if that were the case, he would have left for the Dominican Republic a long time ago. He wouldn't have waited to get fired from his job and doxxed before he went during a pandemic of all times. So it's really sad and it's disturbing. And for anyone who wants to kind of come at me sideways and talking about I'm obsessing with Dominicans, I am absolutely not obsessed with Dominicans. I'm a Caribbean person myself. But when I hear people talking negative rhetoric against the African diaspora and the descendants of the African diaspora, I'm going to match you with facts. And that's how I kind of fell down this rabbit hole, in Jamaica we have a saying, empty barrels make the most noise. Perfect example right here. It really, it's really hard not to feel some kind of way when you hear these kind of things, but recognize it for what it is.
That's what he is, an Afrocentric Jew. And he comes on here using your arguments that you use towards them. So what does that say about your arguments?
It says that they're logical and they make sense, and anybody with half a brain can see it. You're an emotionally disturbed individual. You are not talking from a place of logic or common sense. Your rhetoric is completely out of left field, makes no sense, and does not apply to the Dominican people, and it doesn't represent them. You do not represent, nor do you speak for the Dominican community. And all of my brothers and sisters out there in the African American community, when you see crap like this, whether it's coming from Dominicans or Mexicans or any other group, you have to know that people like this, yeah, I mean, listen, there's crazy people in every community. But people like this do not speak for, nor do they represent any community. They don't represent anybody at all except their own twisted, tortured souls. That's it.
It says that your arguments lead to nowhere, lead to defeat. That is why the Jews are using it.
All right, everybody. That's all that I have to say. I'm wishing everybody love and light, peace, prosperity, and perfect health. And I will see you again the next time.